All right, what's good, YouTube? You know where we landed, boys. Don't get it twisted. Big Warzone fan. Love playing that, dropping in. Shout out to JD, my boy K-Man, the Nightmare. Anyways, Tuesday. Today's a leg day, so I'm ready to go ham. Heavy leg press sets. We're doing some high bar back squats. But anyway, I'll give you like a little gym tour of the garage because it looks nice, looks clean. And then, yeah, so for this video though, I just want to go over a few tips for you guys, some easy things to follow and some guidance as far as, you know, the important pieces, the important variables, right? So I'm not sure if I posted it. If I didn't post it, you'll get some of that snippet talking about macros in this video, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to make it this whole separate video. You know, people that really want to change their body comp, you know, there's main principles that you should be following, right? You should be strength training. You know, are you eating to match your goals, whether it's to lose, maintain, or gain weight, and is it matching your intensity? How to be smart about your sets, how to, you know, progress over time, you know, more volume over time, and make small increments, right? I mean, I think the game of lifting and being fit and looking good is a lifelong thing for me. You know, again, I'm not looking for a shortcut. You know, I'm gonna be doing this till who knows how long, till I'm fucking 60. So, you know, and I'm still young and still got a lot of years in the table to train hard and, you know, train heavy, train explosive, be athletic, be agile. Like, I don't want to lose that, you know, and I think that's just what kind of one of the messages I'm trying to preach is age is just a number, you know, and, you know, I don't want anything to slow me down. You got hard weight training, you got locked in nutrition, you got sleep, right? Those three variables are going to trump, you know, people have none of those first three ideas down, are just like, just completely in just no man's land. And they're worrying about like what pre-workout, you know, what the best, you know, maybe what the best back workout is, or the best movement for this. Or a good example would be, I'm sure we've all heard this like dozens of times, would be, you know, what is the, you know, I have all this belly fat right here. You know, what is the best ab exercise to get rid of that? Again, not to knock on anybody. I'm sure when I first started, I was probably, you know, kind of gullible and you know, would grab onto things like that were really catchy or whatever for my goals at the time. And so I'm not knocking on anybody that's like that now. Not have you jumping around and yo-yoing all the time and weights going up, weights going down, and shit like that. So anyway, I've been talking too long, just ranting. This is just the intro. I do want to get into the video. So yeah, I'll just see you guys downstairs, all right? Yes, sir. So I got the power rack. It's an Ethos power rack. Got an Ethos barbell that came with it. It was like $750. It's a multi-grip pull-up bar. Gets a lot of use as well. And then I got the ski erg right here. Shout out to Benito and Udira. You know what it is. Tons of use. Awesome for conditioning and just kind of throwing in to have some fun with like some full body workouts. And you know, let's keep like a good aerobic pace when you're doing just kind of, you know, some basic conditioning work. I love the ski erg. 10s, couple of pairs of 10s, 15s. 20s, 25s, 30s, and then from 30s to 40s, and then 50s. And then tons of band attachments, red and blue, even a gray heavy band. Do a lot of these with pull-ups. Leg press and a hack squat combo, super dope. But got the cable system, same thing, just another squat rack. Tons of different attachments over here. Got some gloves and shit. Ropes, single arm pulleys. Got a long bar attachment. You know, got the V-bars down there. Weight stack, and that's that. Adjustable incline, shit like that. You know, basic Schwinn bike. Got this shit offer up for like, I don't know, 120 bucks or something. That's about it. And then obviously we got the wheels, so Ethos plates, or sorry, not Ethos plates. We got Kilo Flex plates right here, 25s all the way up to 45, or all the way up to 55s. So red 55s, blue 45s, green quarters, and then black quarters. And then some yellow 35s on there. And then these are some of the old Ethos plates, 10s, a couple 45s back there. Got some waters in there. Got the fan. Shit, man, good to go. So got all the basics, you know what I mean? Nothing crazy. The mats, big piece to the gym. Added these over time. You know, I think we got like 8 of them or something. 6x4. Just need a couple more. You know, once we get a bigger spot, obviously I'll need more mats. We also have some kettlebells, a couple 35s, got the 70, 53, and some 20s. All right, y'all, so here's a snapshot of what I'm going to be talking about today, right? And how similar fat loss blueprint would be compared to a muscle gain blueprint. And so where people get it twisted, or like what you hear, you'll see on the gram is like, hey, there's a fat loss diet or there's a fat loss workout, and the workouts don't change, right? Like, so if you're in a cut, that just means you have less calories coming in, right? So you want to stay strong, you want to chase pumps, you want to flood your muscles with blood and food that you're taking in, and you still want to be consuming good amounts of protein, and you just want to make sure you're in a deficit. And that's really the big three that I'm talking about right here. So that's what it comes down to. All right, so keys here: you want to lift weights 2 to 5 days a week, and again, that range is really really dependent on. That range is really dependent on are you doing full body 2 to 3 days a week versus maybe more of an upper lower split, or maybe like a push pull leg split, or are you paying for training, you're only doing twice in the gym and the rest is on you, so you're going to lift weights at home. So a lot of those variables come in, but lifting weights is huge, versus just being kind of the skinny fat that you see with a lot of people nowadays, because they're so movement based and they're all worried about their heart rate and just moving and burning calories. To build a physique, a decent physique, doing a bunch of cardio, doing a bunch of high intensity and overtraining, right? So anyway, that's point one. Second point, eat enough protein. All right, so range there, a good range is about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound. So yeah, I'm about 225. So if I'm hitting, 225 grams of protein, that's the sweet spot. If I get in an extra 10, 20 grams, again, no big deal. Not that like more is always better, but just know it'll be put to good use. And then if I'm getting in even somewhere in the range of like 180 grams, 190 grams on a day or two a week, that's fine, right? You just got to think from the bird's eye view, and don't get so stuck up in every day all the time, because again, life happens. Nobody's going to be perfect, especially most people trying to really turn this into a lifestyle. I mean, this shit does not happen overnight, right? It takes months, years. So to kind of instill these like principles. So just know you have a range, play with that, and just try to stay consistent. So 0.8 to 1 gram, 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And then the third point for your fat loss blueprint for those that are trying to cut or change their body comp would be the key here is burning more calories than you take in, right? So if you're overeating, if you're taking in, a good example would be if you're taking in 2,000 calories a day, all right, lighting. So let's say you're eating 2,000 calories a day, person A. So in order to lose weight, to create a deficit, there's a few ways you could do that. You could eat less. So, these are just numbers. I'm not saying they're right at all. I'm just giving you an example. So 2,000 calories a day and you're at maintenance, right? So to lose weight, you need to be in a deficit. That deficit can depend on a few people. I would shoot for 250 to 500 calories deficit, usually like a 10 to 15% reduction in total calories. 500 might be a little aggressive for somebody only eating 2,000 calories, because that's a huge chunk, right? Versus 500 calorie deficit for somebody that's taking in 4,000 calories that's a smaller percentage, right? So anyway, creating that deficit is important. So you could do 2,000 calories, create a 500 calorie deficit from just food, right? You could do a 500 calorie deficit from adding training to your day-to-day life. So if you have subject A, again, at 2,000 calories, just again, daily life, going to work, normal stuff every day. They add in exercise, that's going to be another variable that's going to increase their caloric burn through the day. So maybe they don't eat in a deficit, they just add activity, right? Whether it's through steps, that's what I had on here. So, as far as getting those calories in, or burning those calories, that comes from things like your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. How many calories does it take just to sustain, life for you and get through day-to-day activity, basically. Your steps, so that's why, wearing a watch, tracking your steps, that's where this whole 7 to 10,000 steps came from. Not only is that really, there's a lot of research that I've read at least, that's backing, low intense, like kind of zone 2 aerobic work is really awesome for the heart and really healthy for your heart and your body, just to keep a good base of conditioning. Check these boxes. Are you getting in 7,000 steps a day? And if not, then you need to up your step game. And so I've been recommending to a lot of clients, like I was saying upstairs, that they add small walks into their day. So maybe they'll just do 2 15-minute walks, or 3 10-minute walks a day, one in the morning, one at lunch, one before bed or after dinner. and that will help them increase their step intake, right? And even push that closer to 10,000 range, right? That's really important when you're trying to lose weight. So anyway, that's your for your 3 points for a fat loss blueprint, right? Big pillars. Then if you move on to the muscle gain, what do you know? It's all the same shit, right? Maybe a day difference on the weights, and I'll explain that in a second. And then instead of being in a deficit, right, the key here is just being in a surplus. So anyway, with the muscle gain blueprint, still lifting weights 3 to 5 days a week, right? If you want to gain muscle, again, not just gain weight. I'm not like, none of these are just to lose weight. Anybody can lose weight in 2 weeks and lose a bunch of muscle mass by overtraining, under eating, and just fucking becoming a slob, right? So trying to keep the best body comp you can, most functional, strong body you can. It's always about that muscle fat balance, right? That muscle to fat ratio. So on the lifting weights for muscle gain, really important to get the stimulus and repetitive stimulus, especially for new guys, right? A lot of weight training is skill-based, and lifting weights is skill-based, and it comes off experience. Put in hard work. You got to get some hard reps, sets where the reps are getting tough and it's burning a little bit and you feel the muscle working. That's really important. So you got to lift weights 3 to 5 days a week. And usually, well, depending on experience, most people are going to fit in that upper-lower split, like an upper day and a lower day, a couple days a week, or maybe a couple full body days, and then maybe two days where they focus on like kind of weak points in their body based off their physique that they want to put more volume into and really focus specifically on that muscle group. So anyway, that's weightlifting. Again, same with the fat loss. I would just recommend at least a minimum 3 days if you guys are on the muscle gain train, right? Up to 5 days. And you'll notice that both days obviously have, in a 7-day week, have 1 to 2 days off. I think rest is really important. That's when your body actually does grow. So for the muscle gain blueprint, that's even more important that you guys are getting a rest day. And again, you can be active and get your steps in, go like hiking, really low intense, but again, that's like a rest day is a rest day. So make sure you guys are getting those in, and don't feel like again more is better, because this is a lifetime journey, right? I'm not looking for quick fixes and quick fads or something, promising the best muscle gain workout, the best muscle gain exercise, the best fat loss food. Like none of that makes sense when you look at a big picture like this, right? So anyway, eat enough protein, same deal. Really important that you're getting, I would definitely push the higher end. It's hard to say. I don't know. You could kind of argue both ways. Like, I would definitely on a blueprint, on a fat loss blueprint, when you're eating less, your body's obviously in a deficit, a little bit more stress going on with the body because you're on a deficit and it doesn't know that calories are coming in. So it could almost be argued that protein is even more important. So protein on the higher end, closer to one gram per pound. But then at the same time, it's like, all right, on a muscle gain diet, you're trying to build new tissue that doesn't just fucking happen out of thin air, right? You need the supplies and you need the supplies, and you need the protein, you need the aminos to make that happen. So it's almost just as important. So it's either way, there's a range on both, but I wouldn't say that one or the other, you need to have more protein. So anyway, 0.8 to 1.0 grams per pound of body weight, right? Same deal. And then now on the calories, same idea here. Instead of burning more calories than you take in on the fat loss, you need to consume more calories than you put out, right? So if you are at, let's say another example, 3,000 calories a day, and that's like that's your daily caloric intake to maintain weight for whoever this person is. All right, my bad. That should just shut off. So anyway, so if my man is in a surplus, wants to be in a surplus, now he needs to create that through food, right? So basically, he could either drop his steps down maybe a little bit if he's really, getting a lot of cardio in. He could obviously cut that down and put those calories towards, gaining weight, or just eating more. So that third point is the biggest difference in obviously cutting or gaining, right? It comes down to a calorie gain, but the way you train is the same, right? That's really important. And I'm just trying to point out here, like, I'm not going to say I'm on a fat loss diet, so I'm gonna do really high rep stuff. I'm gonna do high rep stuff just to tone, or another myth you might have heard. I'm on a fat loss diet. I'm not gonna lift super heavy. Keep my reps higher again. I'm not gonna lift super heavy because I'm not trying to build muscle. Like it doesn't work like that. It's just not that easy. If it was that fucking easy, I would be like 260 pounds and just fucking shredded, right? Everyone would. Anyone that lifts. Or if it was that easy to just lose weight, like, oh, I just need to lift for more reps and get my protein in. Like if it's that easy, why can't people do it then? So I just think it comes down to sustainability and really realizing that these are the three big pillars that you guys need to be focused on, and long term. And so then on the bottom here, I had just some basics, right? For what both of those need to include as well. Water can impact your strength. It can impact your your eating habits, your energy. So I think water is super important, and it's obviously an essential part of life. So just like sleep, which is point number 2. So you need to be sleeping. Obviously more is better. We're not all fucking babies that can sleep 12 hours a day, but I would say if you can get at minimum of 6, and if you're really on that fat loss diet, trying to keep your stress as low as possible. Actually, another point is low stress and managing stress, and keeping cortisol, is a big hormone. And I don't get too into the hormones. I don't know too much about it. I'm not a fucking scientist to talk about it, but to me, of all the shit I've read and learned over the years, it makes sense that if your body is in a stressful state, it's not going to want to then. It's not going to, when you add more stress, aka a deficit or really hard, intense training, your body's not going to want to change. It's already got so much going on internally that those things don't happen as easy, right? So to me, that makes sense, and it's just kind of something I've always followed. Try to keep low stress. So get your water intake, get your sleep 6 to 9 hours. Close to that 7, 8, 9 range is definitely better. And then staying consistent, right? So that's a big one, right? So you got to stay consistent with this shit, because what happens is a lot of people stick with this for. Maybe some people use this template even, maybe they're listening to this or they hear this from somebody else and they try this shit for like a week or two, and then they like expect this dramatic results, like super fast. And then they're like, oh, I saw something else on the gram, or oh, I heard this from somebody. They don't even give it like time. They don't even give it 6 months, let alone a training program, all right? They're always looking for something flashy. And this is, maybe I'm being biased. I'm not trying to, pick on anybody that's fallen into that trap. Again, we all have at some point, but eventually you just got to wake up and realize like things happen for a reason, right? You don't just magically put on muscle. You don't just magically drop fat. You don't just magically get strong, right? Obviously there's extremes, like sure, out of the millions of people in the world, I'm sure there's a few out there, right, where this happens. But for the most part, these are the basics. And basically what this video was for anyway was to talk about, how to stay consistent and create a lifestyle out of this, whether you're on the fat loss train or the muscle gain train, and how to create habits. And I think with these main points, this is a really good start for, like, I would say 95% of the population that is new, or even like beginner level, intermediate even, that can get more out of their training and see better results if they just like literally adhere to that and just keep it really basic. Because there's so much shit out there now, like I was saying upstairs, there's so much info that people just get lost and they get wrapped up and switch into the next thing. They don't know what to believe, this and that. Like, just go back to the basics. The blueprints always win. All right, the basic blueprints always win. Simplicity. Just like with lifting, same stuff. There's a lot of new fancy shit out there. It might look cool, and maybe it's something you've never tried. And like, yeah, I want to try it out to see how the pump feels, see how that angle, that cable feels. Like, that's awesome. Do it. Which is like ground zero. You got to put in hard work. You got to have some big lifting in there. You got to have strength. Especially as like a natural athlete, you need to make sure your strength stays where it's at, if not goes up over time, right? That's always the goal. And so anyway, yeah, that's that. So just want to show you guys again, there's not a secret to the fat loss. There's not a secret to muscle gain. It just comes down to calories, right? That's the big point here. Training needs to be hard. Got to get your sleep, got to hydrate. You got to make sure your protein is number one. I'm just now starting to kick out vids. I want to start doing that more consistently. Hopefully this brought some light on I guess the similarities and how close training really is and everything is related. It just comes down to like 1 or 2 variables that can really make a big difference on which way you go, which path, whether you're maintaining, gaining weight, maybe unwanted fat, or gaining weight with muscle, or losing weight in a healthy way, losing body fat, or losing muscle, which would be a negative, right? Which would be no bueno. So you need to invest in your body, right? You only get, the way I see it, you only get one body. So I think you got to invest and got to take care of it. And that starts in the kitchen and eating healthy and creating these habits where you're testing your body, you're putting your body under stress, you're letting it heal. And then, you do it again. And, you keep your muscles saturated with good nutrients, good food, a lot of water. You're staying active, you're getting your steps in, you're keeping your heart healthy. You know, you can add cardio as needed, but as you can see on here, there's no cardio. There's not like, okay, fat loss cardio, gain weights, heavy strength days, you know, or protein low and more protein because it's muscle, or, you know, it's getting so complicated out there. And I think people, I don't know, people are just driving me crazy. There's just a lot of bullshit out there. So make sure you really pay attention and ask yourself, like, or when you see something or when you read something, like, does that even make sense? Like, you know, basic stuff. Obviously support the channel if you guys could. I'm trying to grow, get out more videos, a lot of lifting stuff and just some educational stuff like this. I really like talking about the nutrition side of things and kind of just busting these bro myths that are out there, and, you know, keeping people honest and on the right track, and not with like gimmicks and like easy shortcuts, or again, there's like the secret trainer secret that you gotta like find somehow or something. Like, it's all real simple, and you just gotta do it over a long period of fucking time, and hopefully you learn to enjoy the process, because if not, it's gonna seem like a chore. When it seems like a chore, you don't do it. It's gonna be a hassle, and you're going to put it off and then look for the next thing that gets you there faster, right? So just learn the grind, you know, stick to the basics, and, you know, gains will be locked in. So anyway, that's it.